Welcome back to RallySlide, and for the first time in a while, we are posting a podcast live. So I'm here on today's podcast reviewing Rally Croatia with my friend Eli. Good evening.
Good evening, Gal. Good evening to our listeners to our podcast on RallySlide. Today, like Gal already mentioned, we'll be discussing the recent events of Rally Croatia, and boy, was that some rally. Both you and myself expected Toyota to take a 1-2, but little did we know of who that 1-2 would consist of.
You asked me before the rally about bettings, who to bet, and I think both you and everyone else who betted got it a bit wrong.
A bit. We thought it would be Oliver Solberg or Elfyn Evans, but both made a mistake. Oliver being too ambitious, should we say, taking the hard tires for the first day when he hasn't had almost any experience on using them. And he went off just 4.8 kilometers into the first stage. So that was his rally pretty much over. And would you like to elaborate what happened to Evans?
Well, Elfin Evans could have taken advantage of it and running away from one of his main rivals. Instead, what he did was crash a few stages later, if I remember correctly, stage 4. And when he crashed, he also went out. He couldn't brake for a corner and went into the forest. And that left a new leader, Thierry Neuville, who. Sorry, it wasn't Neuville who led. He actually led a
It
different
was Sami
Toyota.
Payari.
Yes,
Sami Payari who led, with
well,
Katsuta right after him.
yes, with Thierry Neuville chasing them. And Payari showed a brilliant pace throughout the rally, but once again, we had tire issues.
Yes, for the third consecutive rally, the Hankook tires didn't deliver. They kept having punctures. Um, Stage 14 was the highlight of it when almost everyone had a puncture, whether it was Payari or Katsuta or Nuiville. If I'm not mistaken, I think pretty much everyone from the Rally 1 cars had a puncture and dropped them off contention. But before those punctures even, we did have an interesting midfield, should we say, fight uh, in the midfield between the Hyundais and John Armstrong, who continued to show his impressive form, coming only a tenth from the fastest time in one of the stages, which I'm sorry, I don't remember which one it was, but a tenth from clinching his first stage win. So he showed pretty much impressive form, which is more that can be said on his teammate Josh McErlean.
Josh definitely needs to
Up
pick
his
up his
game.
pace a bit, yes.
Yes.
However, it must be said that John had a slight advantage. He's been here in the ERC last year, and Croatia was back after a year away in a new location,
In
and
Rijeka.
Rijeka, and indeed, and maybe John had a slight advantage last year with a Rally 2 car, which he took part in the Fiesta, but still, it was a very impressive pace. He showed that Puma, despite everything, can be fast with the right driver and the right crew. Unfortunately, John also has, Eli mentioned, many drivers had punctures, and unfortunately, John was amongst them.
Yeah, but he
After,
made a mistake.
yeah, also,
Or
he
did
was
he have the puncture
also
first? I don't remember.
he had a puncture, and then later something broke on the car. I
Oh,
don't remember
yeah.
exactly
No,
what
we're,
it
we're
was.
really sorry, guys. The rally was filled with drama and with events, so it was kind of hard to keep up. Um, but yeah, John made a mistake and he hit the curb, and I mean he went off the road and hit the tire and damaged, I think, the steering arm or the suspension or something. So the car had to be fixed. So he had to retire for the day. I think it was on Friday on
It
stage
was on
5.
Friday.
Hmm.
It was on Friday.
Yes,
On the second stage, he had a puncture and then lost a lot of time. And a bit later, he had to complete the retire, which was disappointing.
because
But
he was really on form.
extremely. So nice to know that John also can be competitive because he came into the championship to the top level for the first time this year after many years in local championships in WRC2. And we didn't know what to expect from someone who is 31 at this point, not exactly at the start of his career, also not in the best car or the best team. And there's a promising pace. We hope to see more, or maybe in the Canary Islands, where the next event, which is
Next
much closer
weekend,
to
yeah.
home. Yeah, maybe he will also give us a good result. Regarding the tires, it does bring a thought back. Um,
Because of
oh,
the many punctures they had, like a lot. They had, yes, they did say on Dirtfish, I know, that the stages were too extreme on Saturday and they had too much gravel laying around. I mean, because they didn't have enough anti-cut devices. I mean, this is something they did say that they want the organizers to take care of for next year is to have more anti-cut devices because crews were pulling out the gravel from cutting the roads onto the tarmac, which made it horrendous. And so many flat tires that they had, and some did hit something, but other times they were saying they had no idea what it was, and just all of a sudden, puncture, a minute and a half lost, 2 minutes lost. Oops goes the lead, oops goes the podium, just like that. And that brought us a fourth, which was as Gal was about to mention. Gal.
yes. What I was about to mention, in the past we had mousse. If you don't know what mousse is, it's kind of spray which fills the tire with air. If there is a notice that air is leaking, and make sure the crew can complete the stage at least, or a few stages for a certain distance, and not have a puncture. So, since the Hankook tires do not appear to last, also last year there were a lot of problems every rally, and this year it seems to continue. Maybe it's necessary to bring back the mousse at least for now, if not later, as the tires do not seem at the moment like they can take the
Take the
beating
punishment, yeah.
of all the WRC cars. And it does bring a lot of drama, but having drama because of tire failures, it's not something
Yeah, it's more of a
I
tire
like.
lottery. Yeah.
I can even tell you from a driver's point of view, as I have been competing recently, if you have to drive and start to think, oh, the tires might break or puncture or something like this, it does take the sting out of the competition. At the end of the day, drivers want to drive and drive as quickly as they can. And if you have to really worry the tires may get punctured and things like this, it's not fun
And
for
yes,
the
we
spectators.
yeah, and we know it's rallying and punctures is part of the competition, but when it's a tire lottery and, you know, you're having
Well,
punchers
even
right,
cars
left,
are
and
designed to get
center.
punctures.
Yes, exactly. It's no, I mean, come on. They need to do something about it. Either bring back the moose, which they took away in 2008 when Pirelli came then, or yeah, no, they really should bring back the moose for the at least for the foreseeable future. And if that still doesn't help, then I would strongly suggest, as if they listen to me, but I would strongly suggest going back to Michelin for the next star tender. We have another year and a half with these Hankooks. I sincerely hope they do improve because it is nice to see a new company, I mean, a new tire manufacturer in the championship. But if this is if this is the best that he can bring out, then please bring someone better, because we've come to watch a rally and not to see tires being deflated every single stage or every single rally. Again, I understand it's part of the rallying and it's part of what makes the rallying
It's
so
part of the
tough. But
rallying, but it's not the rallying. At the moment, it's not the
exactly,
rallying.
exactly. It's not the. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still against the clock, not against the tires. It's not a tire war.
I wrote you, I think, during the rally, if I remember correctly, that maybe with this amount of punctures, the drivers will remove the tire and start to drive on the rims because it will eliminate
be
the risk of
better.
punctures at this point.
Yes, no, it's terrible. I hope they find. I don't know if they'll find a solution up until Canaries because that's next weekend. It's too soon. But we have Japan at the end of May, so I hope they bring better tarmac tires for that event and better gravel tires also because we saw last year so many punctures. Also in Kenya last time out. So yeah, anyways, that's really seriously something to consider because it really ruined everyone's rally pretty much. Payari would contest to that since he was leading the event. And what do you know it? He got a puncture, 2 minutes
There
lost.
was one stage where pretty much everyone got punctures.
Yeah, stage
Even Padden
14.
actually. Ah, okay. Padden actually said that this stage, sorry, had rocks everywhere. In fact, if you would look at some photos, it appears like it's a gravel rally in some pictures. Many drivers said that in this new region. Um, and that actually changed completely the result because there was one driver who didn't have punctures the entire weekend, and it was Thierry Neuville who, after Payari had his puncture, he said, I think he had no idea why, and also Katsuta had a puncture. Neuville finished the stage and had after that a lead of more than a minute. He didn't win the rally.
Yes.
We will pretty soon tell you
Why
why.
did you spoil it though? You
I
weren't
didn't
supposed
yet.
to start it. You did. You said you
I
didn't
didn't say yet
win.
why. I
Still,
said that
it
we will
was
say
it,
it later why.
it was ironic because he didn't have the punctures and yet he managed to bin
He
it.
managed not to win.
Yeah, he managed to bin it, like in CR. I mean, like in CR when he crashed on the first stage of Sunday. He seems to be back in his form, in his pre
Oh,
2019 form. Yeah, in his 2017 form. If you
recall
remember,
it.
guys, when he would crash out from Monte Carlo in Sweden and Catalonia, what was it, Germany in 2017, when he took out the wheel, took out the rim, took out the suspension, all those stupid
You know,
mistakes. You all know what we're on about.
yes. Also, I didn't tell you this before we recorded, but there was one thing also which was very impressive. We should mention the lower category, the WRC2, they didn't have punctures, but it was very competitive. And we will touch a bit less with WRC2, but there was a family podium with two different cars, but a family podium. If you want, you can also
Well,
skip
and a
that.
family manufacturer podium, you could say also, because
Yes,
they're under the same umbrella. But yeah, and it's also the best WRC2 finish since Deutschland of 2013. Yes,
for WRC2 car.
for WRC2, yes, 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 yes. We'll touch on it later. We'll finish with the WRC top category first, and then we'll
Yes.
come back to the WRC2. As we said, Payari had a puncture and Katsuta had a puncture, so they were demoted. Fomon was running pretty. He could have been on the podium had he not ripped out his. I think for him it was the suspension when he hit a pole. A silly mistake took him out of the rally. Had to retire for Saturday. Only came back for the Sunday, and great shame because then everything was up to Thierry and Patton to bring it home first and fourth, with Katsuta behind him, behind Thierry that is, and Payari behind Katsuta.
But I also dropped to third, not to second, so it was an even bigger loss.
Yes, sorry, yeah. Um, but then Thierry did what Thierry usually does when he has to bring it home safely. He binned it, and
And the
to
way he binned it,
yes, and to add salt to injury, he binned it on the last stage, of course, on the power stage.
in
So
what way?
you tell the viewers, since you seem so keen to tell them.
On the last stage, there was a corner, a fast right corner, and Neuville, I don't know why, because he had no reason to push. He had a lead of more than a minute. It was a short stage, I think 14 kilometers. There wasn't really any threat towards him, and I don't know what he tried to achieve, but what he actually did was try to cut the corner, try to go quickly. He missed the corner, went straight, and hit some fence or something, and broke his steering arm. And from leading the rally by over a minute, on the last stage, I actually said to Eli, I wrote him just before the final stage, so this is a difficult, and we don't know why. The rally in Croatia always has surprises. Just told him, wait until the last moment. I was surprised myself that I was right, but he hit something on the road. He tried to do a U-turn, and after that, steering arm, his right steering arm broke. We thought there was another puncture, and we thought when we first saw it
Yeah, Katsuta
that
told
it,
us that he crashed. I mean, the stage and commentator didn't know. She thought he had a puncture, but he tells her, no, he crashed. And apparently he did. He later said that he understeered and he tried to open, I mean, like the steering wheel or whatever, and he couldn't fix that mistake. And then he went straight on. If you guys remember Monte Carlo 2019 when he overshot a junction, this was similar, but instead of overshooting the junction, he hit the junction itself. And then he ripped the steering arm, and then it was game over from first place. So instead of Hyundai um, clawing back some points on Toyota, they fall further behind, and that doesn't bode well for the rest of the campaign of this year, and also obviously their future
which
involvement
is
in the
uncertain,
WRC. Hmm?
which is uncertain at the moment.
Yeah, and exactly. So, and because of his well, you can say misfortunes, but because of his accident, and since FOMO was out, I mean, of the point, it meant that for the first time since Australia of 2018, Hayden Paddon was on the podium, and
On tarmac.
wouldn't you believe it? The first time in his career on tarmac on the podium. So that was pretty astonishing. He said himself later that he wasn't expecting to be back on the podium in the WRC. Like the fact that he was already driving a Rally 1 car was, more than good for him, more than good enough
What
for
we
him.
hoped.
So exactly. So the fact that he's on the podium and on the tarmac was, and John Kennard, his co-driver, broke the record for being the oldest co-driving driver, sorry, on the podium as well. So
Oldest podium finisher.
yes, so huge congratulations to both of them. I'm really glad that unlike Andreas Mikkelsen, that Hyundai picked a couple of years ago to be the tarmac driver, this time it's working out very well. We always knew Monte Carlo was going to be tough, especially with what happened there in 2017. But the fact that he managed to come back here to Croatia to a rally, he has never competed on a Rally 1 car. I know he has competed in the ERC, was the Rally Hyundai Rally 2, but compete with the Rally 1, finish on the podium, very, very, and 2 minutes behind, which is not too bad. If I recall correctly, he said he was half a second a kilometer behind the pace. For someone
And
who, with someone with so much limited testing with the Rally 1 car, he
on
hasn't
tarmac, a
driven,
surface which he doesn't know.
and on
Anything.
tarmac, a surface he, up until now, his best result was fourth in Germany 2016. I have to say,
Fifth.
like, fifth. Thank you. So yeah, that's okay. Catalonia was fourth, but that was a mixed event back then. Never mind. It's very impressive anyway. So huge congratulations to them. But Hyundai need to go back and give a slap or two maybe to Thierry, to wake him up because they can't afford to do any of those mistakes because they're already 70 something points behind, I think, Toyota in the manufacturer's race.
More too much.
Yeah, no, it's they need to. It's a shame because the car was finally. He said he got the feeling back
Yeah,
on
you said
Friday.
you said something like this, but it's a wondering if Thierry maybe because at the end of the day, Padden is a backup, and for more also somewhat. Maybe there's too much weight on Thierry, which even when he is about to win and everything appears to go fine, he will still make these mistakes. Hyundai have to start to slightly drop some pressure from Neville, I think, especially now with Tanak on. So I think they are built around him a bit too much, in my opinion, which nearly worked this time. But
Yeah, they were so close to getting that first tarmac win since 2024.
mhm.
and first win of the year.
for sure.
And
Uh,
they badly needed it because they're working day and night there, around the clock. And it would have, yeah,
At least Neville was generous enough to apologize to his mechanics and not
and
blame
to
them
admit
for.
it, and to admit it, his own mistake, yes. And because of his mistake,
Mhm.
Lancia, who came back for the first time since Monte Carlo and hadn't performed very well in Monte Carlo, got their first
In the
WRC2
WRC2.
win. Yep,
Mhm.
and it's their first win in the WRC Championship since 1994, I think.
93, I think.
Maybe it was 92. I'm not sure. Never mind. Anyways, because 94 they
A
were
long
still
time.
competing. Yeah, no, 94 I think they were still competing privately because 92
Oh,
they be
92 92 they retired and then it went to private teams. This
exactly.
correct that.
So yeah,
But
with
we
Jolly
see
Club
Lancia again. So if you're 60, 70, 80, further older, win,
50.
Lancia wins again. 50 also. 50s.
Yeah, and
Big.
Johan Russell took the win. I mean, he did win in Croatia in the past with the Citroen, but this was his first win with Lancia. And joining on the podium was his younger brother, Leo, with the
Mhm.
C3, showing that it still has got very impressive pace. And third place was Nikolai Greisen in the second Lancia. So also huge congratulations to them. I mean, finishing fourth and sixth overall in the standings, very, very impressive. And looking forward to what they can do on the loose stuff also, because okay, we now see they have the pace on tarmac, which we kind of knew beforehand, because the weekend before Croatia, the Lancia Epsilon Rally 2 Integrale, whatever, they won in France and Italy. Did you say, Gal? In the local championships
Yes,
there?
indeed, that's what I thought. It was Rally Città di Foligno in the Italian Gravel Rally Championship, so they won there. And there was Rally Le Touquet. Also, if you're interested in other types of rally championships, now it's the season when most of the championships, the local ones, start. Also, the European Rally Championship is supposed to start soon.
It's
So,
this weekend.
also in Spain,
Yeah, this
uh,
weekend.
in Andalusia.
Mm-hmm.
So, the main thing is that Lancia tested the car in some local rallies as a preparation. Performed rather well. I think they did win in France on the tarmac rally, and in Italy, I don't know, but I think they managed to finish also a good result. I don't know if they won. And it's good also to know that they managed to develop a relatively new car.
Competitive with the Toyota Yaris, which was up until now
Yes,
the benchmark. I
the
mean, up
Yaris and the
until now.
Skoda.
Yeah, no, but the Yaris, I mean, ever since it came on board in 24, it was the one to set the benchmark. I mean, it was the one putting the fight against the Skoda.
Mhm.
But now we have a new competitor in town, so really something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And if they can show the same pace on the gravel, whenever that will be, if it's Portugal or Greece, we just don't know the entry lists
I
yet.
imagine Greece, but we wait to see.
Yes, exactly. It's also up to the drivers, of course, because Johan Russell is more of a tarmac driver than a gravel driver, with all due respect. Nikolai Greisen, can mix it up in both of them, but in any case, it's very encouraging to see them on the top step of the podium in their category, especially when next year the cars will be more evenly matched with the new regulations.
We hope. So this is for the WRC2, and you have to admit the Russell family seems like very generous people, relatively. Of course, they're not
Hmm.
gonna invite you to dinner every day, but also from what you told me, it seems like a very nice family, nice brothers. It was
Yeah,
also
no, that
funny when Leo said, "I have one problem, and it is my brother."
my brother, yes, he drives that. I have a yes. It was very nice of him. Yeah, it was very very nice to see that for both of them.
Also,
Um,
speaking of brothers and everything, Thierry Neuville has a half brother, Tom Heinrichs or Heinrichs, I don't know how it's spelled, but who competed in the Italian Rally Championship on the same week that Neuville did what he did, and on the same day he crashed in his category, in the Rally 4 category.
mm.
In
So learning from his older brother then.
From his older half brother, yeah. I hope he will
Yes.
be. he will not copy. I don't mind him copying some things, but I think this is something he shouldn't copy. Uh, at least that's what I think. So
Yeah, wait. We didn't get to the major point though,
mhm. That
because of
Katsuta is
everything that
leading.
yeah, that Katsuta won. He never won a
Right.
rally up until Kenya, and now he's won twice, and the first time on tarmac. And he said he wants to be fighting for the championship in 27. He said it at the beginning of this year or the end of last. And now he's leading the championship, which is the first time a Japanese driver is leading the WRC championship, which is crazy. It's only by 7 points, and
Yeah, but
I,
we never
I
thought this will happen.
exactly, and both of us are pretty sure that he won't be leading after Canaries. But who knows? This year has been bringing us many surprises. Um, Even betting on the Toyota drivers seems to be the wrong bet when we don't know which ones to bet on. Um,
Considering that two rallies in a row, Evans and Solberg crashed,
yes,
and sorry, not crashed. They had technical problems last time, but two rallies were out. It also needs to, we were very excited with Oliver when he won dominantly in Monte Carlo, but he's starting to look like he's again win it or bean it. I don't know, obviously, what will happen next, but his approach also seems to be sometimes a bit too aggressive. He's in Sweden, he wasn't really fair, and in Kenya, what happened? So,
I think it's just an experience because he came to the WRC a bit too early. I'm pretty sure he would say that as well, or I would like to think that he would say that as well in 21 when he came in with Hyundai, and then he was a part-time driver in 22, and that only mostly resulted in crashes. Um, and and then he stepped back to the Rally 2, did an excellent job with the Toyota Yaris for the last 2 years, was it? 20, no, 3 years, sorry. 23 he was with Skoda, 24 was Toyota, 25 Toyota again. And then he won last year in Estonia, but I think he just needs, like you say, to take it a bit slowly, let the experience come through because a lot of these rallies he hasn't done before in a Rally 1 car. Canaries will also be a first, so hopefully he will take what he learned from here and implement it later because we're pretty sure both of us that if he keeps it on the road, he will win it. I don't know if every single time, but he will win it or will be in contention of winning it.
yeah.
So he just needs to, I mean, again, this is part of the learning curve, but we're just hopeful that he, like you say, doesn't crash it or win it every time. Just,
Mhm.
because the key to winning the championship at the end is not just winning, but being consistent.
Mhm. For sure. So,
So now we have Katsuta, who is the most consistent and with the
yeah,
most wins. So
surprisingly.
yes, very surprising, and he will be, I think, first time on the road in Canaries. I mean, he will be
Oh,
opening the
an
road on
advantage.
Friday, so that will be an advantage. Yes, so he will be able to, make the road dirty for everyone. I have a feeling he might crash or might do a silly mistake because he might be a bit nervous, and it's the
Maybe
first time
now,
for.
no, maybe actually the other way around. Maybe now he will finally have a confidence, which is what we spoke about and what I actually think. Maybe now he will have a confidence to actually behave himself and to think, I actually can be good at this and will drive a bit better.
And drive a bit faster. Yes, no, I agree with what you're saying, but I mean, specifically for Canaries, he might be a bit under pressure, first time leading the championship, being first on the road, and so on and so forth. So he might do a silly mistake and go off and go out. Never mind. But if after that in Portugal, for instance, he's like, okay, it was a mistake. These things happen, but can get back on the horse and again challenge for the victory because now he knows he can do it. I mean, he's done it twice now, and he might show more speed, and then he'll have the confidence again to push and be quick and keeping it on the road. Because I think again also this is an experience which he didn't have up until now.
Mhm.
He's never won a rally up until now, and now he's won twice. He's never led the championship up until now. Now he has. So this will be a new experience for him. So this is also something he will have to learn. So again, he might do a mistake, but it's okay if he makes that as long as he, after that, learns from it and again starts challenging for wins. from speed, which I'm sure he has, which I wasn't sure beforehand, I'll admit, but
Mhm.
maybe this will, like you say, unlock a new level
Open
for
something.
him. Yeah, exactly.
I think this is pretty much, as you noticed, we forgot some parts about Croatia because really it was an eventful rally. And we normally do remember a lot of what happened, even very specific details, both of us, what happened in this stage, but in this rally specifically, it was very difficult to keep up.
Yes.
So we reviewed it as good as we could. We are looking forward to Canary Islands, although I think Canaries will be slightly less dramatic as it is genuinely like a let's say circuit rally.
You're saying that, but we have Ogier back in the
Yes,
driver's seat, and we have Sordo back for the first time since 2020, Greece 2024, and his first tarmac event since I don't
yeah,
even
but it's a much
recall.
smoother rally. This Croatia is not a
I
smooth rally.
I know Croatia is more like Corsica, but still, I mean, he hasn't been on the black stuff in a very long time, sort of.
No,
I
but just
mean,
talking generally, that this rally can be maybe it will not bring as many dramas, but we will see. Obviously,
I wouldn't count on it, honestly. If the season has showed us anything up until now, is expect the unexpected.
Mhm.
Honestly, even for a boring rally such as, and I'm putting quotation marks here, uh, a rally as the Canaries, I wouldn't be surprised if it springs up a few surprises. Don't forget, Rovanperä isn't competing this year. Tanak isn't competing this year. Formant was the highest placed Hyundai last year when he finished fifth. Um, but yeah, this time I think it will look a bit different. And also one last thing, this was before the rally. Thierry said he tested in private the i20 Coupe WRC, if you remember, guys, the WRC 17 cars, the original ones. He tested them with the Hankooks and back to back with the Rally One that he's currently driving, and he came to the realization that maybe the tires are not the problem. Surprise, surprise. I mean, yes, I know we earlier bashed them about the punctures, but that is something else. The performance is a different matter. So hopefully that will, they'll be able to make another step in the right direction and transform it to a result this time because they badly need a win. Badly.
badly is an understatement.
Understating it, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So review to what was a very fascinating rally. I think the most fascinating we had this year. We, if Eli made bets, I think he pretty much got all of them. I think I told you to put a Guayazin or Rossell in seventh or ninth. We didn't
I
also expect it.
I did put Purcell in eighth. We're not placing bets and we're not encouraging anyone to place bets. There are pick'ems online that you can put. No money or anything, God forbid. I put my pick'ems. I put Oliver Solberg first, Evan second, and third Neuville, and fourth Formant. And boy, was I wrong. Rossell, I did put actually. I put him eighth, I think. I put Johan Rossell because I was thinking to myself, he'll probably win this because it's Croatia and it's Lancia, and I know it's good on the tarmac,
Yeah, he did
or at
win
least
this, but you didn't think he would finish fourth overall.
fourth, exactly. And Patton, I did put, but I put him seventh. So that just shows you how crazy this rally was.
Unpredictable this rally
Yes,
was.
exactly. Yeah. And this was without rain, mind you. This was a
Yeah, there
dry
was supposed
rally.
to be snow at some
There
point,
was
like
snow a couple of
right?
weeks ago before the rally, but there was no snow, and still crazy, crazy rally. We'll make sure to catch up after the Canaries because this was
Yeah,
pretty much a review of Croatia and also kind of a bit of a preview to the Canaries that we kind of alluded to. So we'll see you after that. Thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you for having me, Gal. It was a pleasure as always.
for me too.
And have a good night.
Yeah, good night. See you at the Canaries. Bye bye.
Bye.